MrSan44Man seen in over 130 plus countries around the world. And you're tuned in to the Detroit Raw Show, only on YouTube and now on Social Cam.
So who's going to blink first? The politics of brinkmanship as divisions over healthcare reform at the US Congress threaten a government shutdown. Also the programme, Aaron's here, and he's going to be looking at why that budget battle in America matters to the rest of the world.
George, it matters because the US economy is the engine that drives the global economy, and boy, markets, they are already jittery. Why? Well, investors are worried this budget battle could result in America not paying its debt, and if that was to happen, well, it would mean higher interest rates worldwide and affect every bank, central bank, and pension fund on the globe.
What on the water?
What's happening? Oh, man, for real? You hanging with Sandman, huh? Yeah. Oh my God. See, you can't be drinking that Hennessy. Look at him with the smiling face. I'm blown, though.
I wasn't Sandman, look wild. Oh, you get head though, mother nigga. Sandman be filming his ass off. Around the world. He wasn't moving. That's how we do. Take him in the face. You don't know what time it is. Welcome to the G, nigga. Juicy, I'm telling you.
A slew of Detroit workers could face criminal charges in the future for collecting fraudulent unemployment benefits.
A new report finds shocking evidence of people claiming to be laid off, collecting the checks while they're still on the job. Fox 2's Robin Schwartz has more on the findings and also what happens now.
It's times inside Detroit's Coleman A. Young building, especially here on the third floor around Human Resources. This new audit of the city's employee benefits programs found workers, including some still on the job, collecting fraudulent unemployment benefits. The numbers are jaw-dropping. Between July of 2011 and March of this year, of 1,484 claims processed during the audit, close to 200 were likely outright fraud. Another 500 or more were deemed highly questionable.
When you have a person who is willing to lie, who is willing to cheat, who is willing to steal the resources of the city of Detroit, that's where the responsibility is initiated.
We sat down with Inspector General James Heath, who says the findings even shocked him. In some cases, the abuse is as blatant as a worker who's never missed a day of work, claiming to be laid off and collecting benefits.
For every dollar that the state of Michigan pays to a person who is supposedly laid off or fired, the city of Detroit reimburses that money dollar for dollar. And so whenever someone steals $1, the city of Detroit is out of much needed funds.
The probe was ordered by Emergency Manager Kevin Orr as Detroit's bankruptcy moves through federal court. Orr says Detroit has debt and future liabilities of $18 billion. The report also found lax practices on the city's part and not enough oversight.
Frankly, we weren't being as diligent as we should have as a city.
The city's pension funds were also reviewed. Findings show poor investment returns and bad real estate investments cost the funds more than $140 million. The report also questions some fuzzy math when it comes to calculating benefits. No one from the emergency manager's office was available to talk on camera, but it has been reported that Kevin Orr wants to freeze the city's pension system for public workers in light of the findings. Not surprisingly, general pension trustees oppose that action and consider it a sign of bad faith. So what happens now? Any criminal wrongdoing found in the report will be turned over to state and federal prosecutors. We're told criminal charges are expected down the road. In Detroit, Robin Schwartz, Fox 2 News.
Thank you very much. Well, police in Fort Worth, Texas say a major tragedy was averted this week when a gunman's weapon wouldn't work. Surveillance video, look at this. It shows the man trying to rob people at a McDonald's. He allegedly pulled the trigger 5 times, but that gun did not fire. He left. Outside, he fired again, and the gun did go off. He went back inside, pulled the trigger, but again, it did not fire. That man is now in custody.
We'll get to that, but thank you very much for the good wishes and all of you as well. I want to get to today's top story, the potential government shutdown that is now just 2 days away. A rowdy debate on a bill to fund the government stretched into the wee hours this morning. It ended with passage of a bill that would delay delay Obamacare's implementation for a year. Democrats say that's just not acceptable. Kristen Walker is live at the White House. Kristen, good morning. Where's all this going?
Lester, good morning to you. It seems like the only thing Democrats and Republicans can agree on today is that a government shutdown seems increasingly likely after the House of Representatives passed that piece of legislation overnight, mostly along party lines. It is a bill that the White House has threatened to veto. Meanwhile, across the country, there is anger and frustration.
Shutting the government down. You can speak, but you're not silencing.
It was fireworks on the House floor Saturday night.
Mr. Speaker, the House is not in order.
And as the debate rages in Washington, 1,000 miles away, they're watching it all closely at the Everglades National Park in Florida. If the government shuts down, the park would close. More than 250 employees likely furloughed.
We have a lot of dedicated National Park Service employees that are concerned about being on an extended furlough.
And a shutdown seems more likely by the minute after the Republican-led House passed a bill overnight that would delay Obamacare by a year.
Tonight, the Republican majority will vote to shut the government down.
All Republicans are asking tonight is give the nation a year to study a 2,500-page bill that even Speaker Pelosi hadn't a clue what was in it.
The White House quickly fired back, releasing a statement saying any member of the Republican Party who votes for this bill is voting for a shutdown. So how would a shutdown impact you? You can forget that trip to a popular tourist site because all national parks and museums, even the National Zoo, would close. Thinking about getting out of the country? Your passport better be up to date because those applications will stall, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers would likely be furloughed. But if you want to mail a letter, you're in luck. The post office will remain open. And don't worry, that check will still be in the mail. The Social Security check, that is. Across the country, mounting concern.
We're really hoping that you can come to a conclusion and keep us working and keep these great places open to the American public.
So that bill now goes to the Senate, which is not back in session until Monday. Majority Leader Harry Reid has already said he will reject it outright, which means that lawmakers will effectively have less than 24 hours to try to sort this whole thing out and try to avert a government shutdown.
That shutdown showdown is our top story. Of course, it's just hours away now. NBC's White House correspondent Peter Alexander has the latest on what's unfolding. Peter, good morning to you.
Matt, good morning to you. It looks at this point to be almost certain that the government will shut down beginning at midnight tonight. Privately Democratic and Republican aides are predicting as much, and there's not all that much urgency here either. The Senate won't even begin considering the House bill until late this afternoon. In what is as much a partisan crisis as it is a fiscal crisis, the country appears to be barreling toward its first shutdown in 17 years. It's decision day. Congress has until midnight tonight to avoid a government shutdown, but no one's getting their hopes up. House Republicans, driven by Tea Party conservatives, are refusing to fund the government unless the president's health care law, with enrollment set to begin tomorrow, is delayed 1 year.
The American people deserve to have time to see what this monstrosity will do before it is implemented.
And while the House stayed in session until early Sunday morning, their plan is a non-starter for Senate Democrats or the president, who huddled with advisors Sunday, insisting Republicans agree to fund the government without conditions.
Don't shut down the government. Don't fail to pay the government's bills with the debt ceiling. And that's exactly what the Republicans are hell-bent on doing.
The Democratic-controlled Senate didn't even meet Sunday. The hall's silent. Instead, they'll wait until this afternoon to reject the House plan, just hours before the government shuts its doors. House Republicans are furious.
They have refused to even consider the compromise that we have offered.
Among the Republicans' demands for funding the government, a 1-year delay for the president's health care law, the repeal of a tax on medical devices, and guaranteed pay for U.S. troops even if there is a shutdown. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is defending the Republican strategy.
The American people overwhelmingly reject Obamacare. They understand it's not working. The only people who aren't listening to the argument are the career politicians in Washington.
Republican lawmakers are considering one last-ditch option that they may throw onto the table late this afternoon. Matt and Savannah, what this would do, this is a bill that would fund the government, but it would also force members of Congress, their staffs, and the White House staffs to buy their medical insurance through the new healthcare laws exchanges, those healthcare exchanges, without subsidies from the government to help reduce the cost.
with you. And you can see some of the scenes that I got off the news. But, hey, we in trouble. From the foreign news to the domestic news, it's all bad. And who is the heartbeat of everybody's economy? America. That damn slave trade always got to come up, don't it, Sandman? Because that money funded the world. Funded the world. We black folks took a whole world and put it on our backs. Oh, man. Five. Now it's a mess. Ain't know that you can't date no white woman no more. They hang you. Hell, they'll still hang you in some city, some states in the South. Clans still run around. Skinheads still run around. These are the same poisonous people that promoted slavery and wanted to see black folks put so far under, we would never been nowhere. This whole mess could have been alleviated if you'd just let us be educated. The Emancipation Proclamation ain't even 150 years old. Good. Civil rights ain't no more than 50-something years old. Hell, I'm as close as getting to civil rights. I'm 47. That tells you when civil rights was coming around. It's bad, y'all. I just hope everybody wakes up before it's too late. Because when we wake up tomorrow, there's going to be a government that's shut down. And it's going to be called partially, I don't care how they say it, the government is shut down. And it will be. Because it's broke. No more black folks in the cotton fields to bring them profits no more. See, we gave us civil rights. 50 years. Government ain't shut in 17 years. Balance it out. The truth hurts, but hey, bad part about it, we gonna suffer the most. The poorest people in the world gonna suffer the most and had the worst trauma, the worst setbacks, the worst disadvantages, mess, a mess, a hot mess. It's your man, MrSan44Man. You're gonna see Arrested Part 1 of I had yesterday, and today is basically about the government. So there's nothing else that will supersede. I will see y'all all tomorrow. We talk about what we gonna do about the government being shut down. Well, partial. It's your man, MrSan44Man, and you're tuned into the Detroit Raw Show, only on YouTube. Sad, man. What you think a government shutdown gonna do for them people right there? Coming home, going to work, maybe on a pension. Wonder what they thinking about right now.